This video is going to be a presentation on how to do an epoxy garage floor coating. Some garage floors need a little bit more attention than others. In this particular case, it had a low spot where the water was puddling and lots of little areas where it spalled, chipped, and flaked. And so, along with that, of course, some of the oil contamination that had to be ground out. So that's what's going to take place here. The crew is going to go in, do some grinding, and they're going to remove those contaminated areas. They're going to fill and patch in the low spots, spalled areas, damaged areas to make it all look uniform and consistent. If you have the luxury of pressure cleaning it, it's a lot better than acid etching it because it opens up the pores a lot more. We also like to put down a thin skim coat over the entire surface for consistency so it reflects through well with the epoxy coating when it's applied. Along with the preparations before applying the epoxy, we do the masking, VISQUEEN, if we're going to be spraying down the epoxy for the overspray. Mixing the product is something you have to make sure that you plan just right, because the two parts of the epoxy, when they're put together, are going to be volatile because you've got a pot life of about 15 to 20 minutes to work with it. And of course, it's always fun to have a little music in the background to go along with your work so you can enjoy what you're doing.
Do you want to grab a mallet?
Grab a mallet.
This is what we spray it down with, is an airless sprayer. And there's quite a few moving parts before that's all ready to go. Now once it begins, it's pretty fast and furious. Approximately 520 square feet on this garage floor we could do in less than 10 minutes. There's a method to it where we crisscross the application so that way it is solid and uniform, and we don't bother back rolling it because it looks better and shinier if you don't touch it with a roller. I like to let them cure for about 72 hours before you drive on them and access them with your vehicle. And this is a second method in which we can apply the epoxy by just simply squeegeeing and back rolling it after it's poured out of the buckets.
Get a couple minutes of it.
Once again, the back rolling is secondary to what we prefer. We like to see it sprayed down because it gives it a little bit better consistency. Here's an additional feature that is a big part of epoxy floors. It's popular now, and that's putting down the color chips. Once the color chips are cast into the epoxy while it's wet, then we go in and seal it, and depending on how heavy the color chips are, kind of dictate how many coats of the clear coat are applied. Here again, that one is squeegeed, the clear coat is, and then it's back rolled into place, and voila, you've got an awesome gray background, solid epoxy garage floor with a black and white and some gray color chips cast into it. If you decide you want to go a little crazy and wild, you can use some fun colors with epoxies. This is what it would look like if you left it just with the solid blue. That's the second coat applied, and this is with a little flare of black and red color chips added to it, followed by the clear coat when it is completed.